All right, hi, Math 1052 students. I'm going to do Unit 4 review question number 9. Right, so Rin received a demand loan of $32,000 on February 14, 2015 from his bank at 11% per annum simple interest on and on May 7th, 2015, he made a repayment of $600. And on August 20, 2015, he made a repayment of $2,500. He cleared the rest of the loan on November 18, 2015. Using the declining balance method, calculate the amount of the last payment. Okay, let's work this problem then. Okay, so to solve this problem, the best way to do it is to break it up into 3 parts, right? The interest charged on the loan from February 14 to May 7th. The interest, that's part 1. Part 2 would be the interest charged from May 7 to August 20. And lastly, the third part, the interest charged from August 20 to the end of the loan on November 18, when Rin makes the final payment. All right, so let's break it up. So part 1 would be from February 14, 2015 to May 7th of that same year. Okay, first step is to figure out the number of days between these 2 dates. Right, we look at the date chart to find out that May 7th would be the, just a minute, my date chart here. Right, May 7th is the 127th day of the year, whereas February 14 is the 45th day of the year. Okay, so we get the difference between these 2 numbers. 127 minus 45 equals, go to the calculator, see what happens there. So that's, 127 minus 45 equals 82. All right, so that's 82 days. Got to put it in units of year, so have to put a denominator of 365, the total number of days in the year. So that's in the unit of years, because interest rate is typically given as a per annum rate. So this 11% per year. So the time has to match the interest rate. Right. So now we figure out what the interest charged in the first in part 1 of the loan would be. Okay, so I equals PRT. This is the formula for simple interest. Okay, so simply plug in. So the interest is the interest charged by the bank for borrowing the $32,000. So you plug in, go to the word problem to find out that the principal or the loan amount is $32,000. So plug that in. $32,000 multiplied by the rate. The rate's 11%, which we want to put into decimal form. So that's 0.11. Multiply that by the time, which is what we figured out at the beginning of the problem. So that's 82 over 365. All right. So to solve this, what you want to do is to use BEDMAS, or the order of operations. So you do the division first. Get the calculator. Since 82 is already there, you divide 82 by 365. All right. And you multiply this number by 0.11, multiplied by 0.11, and then multiply that by 32,000 to get $790.79, which you can at this point round down. All right, so the interest charge would therefore be 790.79. All right, so in this particular problem, you can round off interest charged at the particular period, so don't have to worry about the keeping that whole thing in the memory for this particular part of the problem. All right, now this is not finished yet, this part. Okay, so on May 7th, we find out from the problem that he paid $600. All right, so the payment is a payment of so payment is usually a PMT, equals $600, and the interest charged is this, right? So if you're paying this and the interest that the bank charges you is this, then the payment is insufficient or not enough to pay for the interest. So you will incur what we call an interest balance. Okay, so you essentially get the interest charge of 790, and you subtract the payment of 600 to get an interest balance of $190.79, which you set aside, right? Because we're using the declining balance method, right? Declining balance means that you always prioritize the interest charged when applying the payment to the loan. So the payment has to go to interest first before it can reduce the principal. So in this, in part one, since the payment of $600 doesn't fully cover the interest payment of $790.79, an interest balance is the result, and you can't do anything. You can't reduce the principal because you don't have enough money left. The principal stays the same, which is $32,000. Right, so this is part one of the problem. Okay, so I'm gonna put this aside up here maybe for a second. I'll get a new paper. Okay, right. Take this away first. Okay, so part two of the problem would be to figure out the interest charged between May 7th (2015) to the next payment date, which is August 20, 2015. That's August 15, 2015. All right, so again, we follow the same procedure. We have to calculate the number of days between these two dates. Look at the date calendar. So August 15 would be August 15. That's day 227. Right? May 7, we know from the previous example, we looked at the date number already. That's the 127th day of the year. Okay? So we get the difference between both. 227 minus 127 equals, get the calculator. So clear. Okay, 227 minus 127 equals 100. Oops, I made a mistake. This is sorry. That's August 20. Okay, so August 20, that would be, August 20 is, pardon the mistake, August 20 would be the day the 232nd day of the year. So just correct this mistake here. So that's 232 minus 127. Get the calculator again. Okay, so 232 minus 127 equals 105 days. Okay. So 105 days. Do the same thing. We divide by 365 to make it in units of year. And we get the I equals PRT equation for simple interest like we did before. And now we plug in. Okay. Right. So we know from the previous example that the principal was the principal equals still $32,000 because because we weren't able to reduce the principal, right? So that would be PRT. So that would be equals $32,000 multiplied by rate equals 0.11. Multiplied by the new time, which is 105 over 365. Okay, to get the interest charge for this particular period. Okay, so we go back to the calculator. Let's see how that works. So we have 105. Divide that by 365. All right. Multiplied by 11%. And multiplied by the principal, which is still 32,000. To get $1,012.60. Again, you can round off at this point here because it's simple interest. All right, so let's go back here. Okay, so that will be 1,260. All right, now we go back to the problem here. The problem says that on August 20, Rin paid what? 2,500. So that was the payment. Okay, so payment equals 2,500, right? And the interest charged is this. So we apply the payment to the interest. All right, so we go, now the payment is 2,500. We subtract the interest charge for that period, which is 112.60. But we won't stop there. We have to also subtract whatever interest balance remains at this point. And we know from part 1 that we have an interest balance of $190.79. Okay, so we have to add that as well. So minus 190.79 equals, see if we have any remaining. Look at the calculator. So you get, I'm going to move this over here so you can see. So you get 2,500 minus 1,012.60 minus 190.79 to get 1,296.61. All right, that's the remaining sum, the remaining amount after applying the current interest and the interest balance from the previous period. So that's 1,296.61. Okay. Since there's a remaining balance of this can be used to reduce a little bit of the principal of 32,000. Okay. So we can get that here and go 32,000 minus 1,296.61, which would equal 30,703.39. Okay. So this is your principal balance after the second period. Okay, now we go to part 3. So part 3 then would be the time period from from August 20, 2015 to November 18, 2015. Okay, so we'll look at the day calendar, so the day chart again. November 18 is the 322nd day of the year, and August 20 is the 232nd day of the year. So we subtract these two numbers. 322 minus 232 equals, I'm going to do the calculator again here. Okay, so let's get rid of that. 322 minus 232 equals 90 days. So 90 days, again, divided by 365 to put it into units of year. Okay, now we get to the PRT. I equals PRT and plug in accordingly. Okay, now the P we know from part 2 has now been reduced to 30,703.39. So that is what we plug in for P, 30,703.39. Okay, again, you in simple interest you can round up the cents in the middle of the equation, which is different from the future value sort of thing. Multiply that by 11%, multiplied by the time, which is 90 and 365. Okay? All right, so we get the calculator again here. So 90 divided by 365 times 11% times 30,703.39 equals 832.7768. So that's, you can round that up to 78 cents. Okay, so that's interest charge here of $832.78. Okay, let's put that aside so we know what is the payment then at this. So at the end of the period, he's going to simply, there's no partial payment. He's going to simply pay off the whole thing. Okay, so what we need to figure out is when you the final payment will be equal to the principal remaining and the interest in the last period. Okay, so we know that the principal is this, and you add the interest charge there. So that would be 30,703.39 plus the interest charged of 832.78 get a final value of, just add that in the calculator, I won't do that now, 31,536.17. Well, let's see, let's just do the calculator thing. Okay, so we get 30,703.39 plus 832.78. Yes, there you go. 31,536.17. That is the settlement, the final amount that the client has to pay off the loan. Because at the end, again, you just pay the principal remaining plus the interest accrued in the last period. Okay, good. So that's how you do the declining balance method. Just want to make a last point here. Okay. So the tricky part here, where students make a mistake, is make sure that you take into account the interest balance of 190 in part 1. Okay, and that gets charged to the payment immediately when you have a payment in part 2. So it's 2,500. Then you subtract the interest in the accrued in part 2 of the loan, and you also subtract the interest balance from part 1, the first segment of the loan. So don't forget to do that. Okay, so that's how you do the declining balance method.